10 years ago, I came to Carara National Park and left completely underwhelmed. Honestly, I even told people it wasn't really worth it, especially with places like Manuel Antonio nearby. But on this visit, something happened that completely changed how I see this park. We had one of the rarest wildlife encounters I've ever experienced in Costa Rica, and it happened in the last place I expected. Welcome to Peligro Live. Today, we're exploring Carara National Park, which is famous for its birds. In this video, we're gonna give you the tips, how to spot animals, and the full rundown on this beautiful national park. Carara National Park is just outside Jacó on Costa Rica's central Pacific coast, and it's often overlooked. The entrance isn't flashy, the signage is faded, and you can literally hear the highway from parts of the park. So going in this time, I'll be honest, my expectations were pretty low. But instead of judging Carara for what it isn't, this visit helped me appreciate it for what it is. Right off Highway 34 and only an hour and a half from San Jose, it's one of the easiest parks in the country to access, and they have a universally accessible trail for visitors to enjoy. The park is open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and costs a reasonable $10 per person. Just learn from my mistake. Okay, lesson learned. Just make sure when you come to Carara Park, buy your entrances online ahead of time because they don't take cash, they don't take card. All has to be done on their online system, and we learned the hard way. Carara is famous for its birds. Over 400 species have been recorded here. The most famous is the large population of scarlet macaws, giving rise to an interesting statue at the entrance. But you can see more than just birds. This park sits in a transition zone where tropical dry forest meets humid rainforest, creating a unique environment for wildlife and plants. You just need to pick the right trail and let the adventure begin. Something important to know is that Carara has two completely separate trail areas, and signage can be hit or miss, so take a picture of the trail map at the main entrance. We explored it all, hiking a total of 8 kilometers or about 5 miles. This took us about 3 hours. Here's the breakdown of each side. Most people start at the main entrance. This side has bathrooms, drinkable water, pretty good signage. The first trail you'll encounter is the universally accessible loop. It's paved, fully accessible, has interpretive signs, and even a bathroom. This side of Carara is extremely popular with tour groups and birders. They're usually so focused on finding birds that everyone moves slowly, speaks quietly, and stares into the tree. It felt a little bit like hiking through a library, which was okay because we were also wanting to see the wildlife. The trees here are massive, the forest is dense, and visibility can be challenging, which is why sound becomes so important. As a non-birder myself, here's a birding hack. Check out the Merlin Bird ID app from Cornell University. It can identify birds by sound, so even if you can't see it, you know exactly what you're looking for. Then we heard something loud in the trees, and it wasn't a bird. We have yet to see them, but all around us, you can hear the howler monkeys. In my mind, I can only imagine like the first people that weren't from this area coming here, coming into the rainforest, and then they hear that sound. What's really cool about howler monkeys is they're the loudest land mammal on Earth. Just like us, they have a hyoid bone, but theirs is way bigger and it creates this chamber that just echoes, and these animals can be heard for miles. Along the way, we saw animals like the white ibis, a massive golden orb-weaver spider, and even a quick glimpse of a mealy parrot. And then, something completely unexpected happened. Oh my God, it's a tyra. Yeah, that's a tyra. That's just a short glimpse, is all you ever get. That was a tyra, a weird species of mammal in Costa Rica, and I cannot believe we just saw it hanging out and then jumping across the trail like that. Every time you go out into nature, something incredible happens. This was the unexpected treat that we were not ready for. Blown away by such an incredible sighting, we started making our way back. One of the nice things about Carara National Park is that it's really well marked how to get back. The trails have pretty good maps in front of them, but this is super important so you don't get stuck out in the rainforest at night. Something else interesting about this national park is that it's right next to the freeway. And so the majority of the trails that they have, the nice easy ones, we're hearing a lot of freeway noise in the background. But with that said, there's a ton of birds that we're hearing in the distance, so I guess the animals aren't impacted by it all that much. Eventually, we made it back, hung out with some spiny-tailed iguanas, and headed over to the last trail. The second trail system is about 2 kilometers up the road from the main entrance. You can walk it, but it's much easier to drive. You pull over on the side of the road, park, and that's where the trail begins. There's usually a local guy who will watch your car for a voluntary tip. $1 or $2 is completely fair. We explored all the loopy trails in the main park area, and that only took us about 2 hours. This is the long trail. We're right near the Tarcoles bridge, and it's 2 kilometers out, 2 kilometers back. And while this one says that there's a laguna, it's already dry, and so there's no way that we're gonna see crocodiles or anything, but this is where the guides say the majority of the animals are. So let's go give it a try. This side feels more like a classic dry forest. It's sunnier, warmer, and much more open. The trails are less maintained, but take you further away from the sounds of the freeway. We saw a lot more lizards, like anoles and whiptails, but that was about it. We made it to the end of the trail, but this side still had a few more surprises for us. The signage on this trail is a little bit different. It's not as nice as the other side. This is by far the more rustic and least maintained site. This lets you know that it's the end of the trail, and it's way shorter than they have posted on their map. So I wonder what's really going on here. So when you look on the map, it tells you that it takes you to a lagoon. I checked ahead of time, the lagoon is completely dry. And so this is the end of the trail where you could see there used to be water, and I think on the other side of that is going to be the Tarcoles River where the crocodiles are. So even in the banks of the rivers, you got to be careful. I don't think there's any crocs here, but let's go take a look at what the dry lagoon looks like. This is pretty nice that the dirt's a little bit moist because we can see there's peccary tracks here. So remember, those are the white collared peccaries. Some people call them javelina. They look like pigs, but they're not pigs. Usually, I just see tracks, but today was different. That was the closest we've ever been to peccaries in the wild, and they don't have great eyesight, so they didn't really see us at first, but as soon as they got wind of us, they bolted into the distance. But we didn't realize there was peccaries at first. There's monkeys making weird noises, and they alerted us that something was going on down here, so we stopped, looked for the monkeys, and then ended up seeing the peccaries. It's like a 2-for-1. This is awesome. This is why you need to come out and explore nature. Right above us is the white-faced capuchin monkey, a really characteristic species of this kind of zone. They love the openness. These are the really smart ones and semi-dangerous ones because they do throw things at you. But this group of capuchins was actually pretty nice. There were a ton of juveniles playing, so we sat down in the middle of the trail and watched the show. You're probably wondering which side of the park is better to go to. For most people, hands down, it's gonna be the maintained paths over by the visitor center. But if you like the adventure and you don't mind a little bit more of a rustic vibe out in the middle of nowhere, then I would say this sector by the Tarcoles Bridge is way better because we haven't seen near as many people and we had some pretty good animals here too. If you got the time, do both. We've been hiking for probably 5 miles, maybe 3.5, 4 hours total, and we've got to see it all. There's animals at both sides, and you're not gonna know unless you go check them out. Let's talk about some of the important things. When you're coming to Carara, the bug factor is mid, so having bug spray is pretty good. The sun factor is actually really low. There's a ton of shade, and I don't even think I need my sunglasses, but I brought them anyways. As far as difficulty, I would say Carara is not a very difficult park. For the most part, it's just flat. And the trails are very well marked unless you go to the second side by the Tarcoles River, where it's a little bit more, you're on your own, and you can mostly figure it out. To sum it up, Carara National Park has gotten significantly better over the last decade. It's still not the most impressive park in Costa Rica, but it's close to Jacó, more affordable, less crowded, and absolutely worth visiting with the right mindset. If you're not that great at spotting wildlife or don't want to carry around binoculars, hire a local guide. Even without a guide, this is still a great park to explore on your own. Just slow down, stop often, and let the forest come to you. Thanks for hanging out with us today at Carara National Park. We had an incredible adventure and I still can't believe we saw the Taira. If you like this video, don't forget to check out the other national parks in Costa Rica. Thanks for watching. Stay wild.